Sony continuing to trim the fat, and this time they're cutting into part of the gaming division. In a story that seemed to have come out of nowhere, Sony has announced that they have sold off Sony Online Entertainment to an independent investment firm along with their catalog of games. So you may not know who exactly Sony Online Entertainment is, but I'm sure you've probably heard of some of their games like EverQuest, which was a pretty popular game. In fact, at one time it was in the top 10 most profitable MMOs. PlanetSide 2, a game that I told you a long time ago, was one of the reasons why I wanted a PS4, because I wanted to play PlanetSide on consoles. I played a little bit on PC here for you. They had DC Universe, and H1Z1 was also another one that just recently made a lot of news. So they made a lot of PC games, but all of these PC games were going to be coming to the PS4, and were going to be there exclusively to that console. But all of that now thrown out the window because it appears that a lot of these games, there's a good chance that you will be playing them on the Xbox One. In fact, the president of Sony Online Entertainment announced on Twitter today that he couldn't wait to make Xbox One games. He also stated that they brought all the games with them, so Sony apparently has no control over these games and where they appear. So that would definitely be good news for Xbox One owners. And it kind of makes you wonder if we're getting one step closer to possibly being able to play cross-platform with PS4 gamers to Xbox One gamers. So I don't know if maybe you have to jack it up some way and do it through streaming through PC eventually one day, but who knows, eventually we may be able to actually play against one another. Now, some people may say that the division wasn't making good games or making money, but like I mentioned, EverQuest was a big game that they've got in development. And again, at one time, it was pretty popular. Everybody's heard of it. You got PlanetSide 2, which just broke records the other day. And they just announced not too long ago. I remember reading the headlines a few weeks ago or a few months, I don't remember now, but they were saying that that game was now profitable. So I'm not really sure that it was a profitability thing. Even Michael Pachter, he put out a statement, and his statement apparently suggests that it was profitable too. He says, quote, "I think that Sony Online is profitable, but not particularly strategic for Sony. Remember, they are a consumer electronics manufacturer. So to some extent, owning movie and television studios makes sense in order to drive Blu-ray player and TV sales. However, owning an online gaming company isn't a great fit, particularly as games are shifting increasingly to a free-to-play mobile model." Another analyst chimed in. He said, quote, "While the PlayStation 4 has sold well, Sony has really been cutting back on investment in game development. SOE worked on massive projects that were really not a good fit for the target PlayStation audience. So it's not a huge surprise. It just wasn't fitting into Sony's current strategy." So those were a couple of statements from analysts, but overall the developers seemed pretty happy with the decision. They said that they actually expect to have more resources available to them as a result of this acquisition, which they said would lead to new exciting developments for the current existing IP and games. So they kind of made a statement suggesting that they weren't getting the resources or the money that they needed in order to do the projects that they wanted to do. So hopefully this is good news for everybody, and it does kind of sound like a win-win. Sony sells off a section which will help with their books with the stockholders with their year ending this fiscal year in March. Developers are going multi-platform, which means they're going to have more opportunities to make money and to bring in resources for their games to continue to build on those. And then Xbox One owners can look forward to a lot more games coming on to their consoles. Post down below, let me know, what do you think this all means, and does it come as a surprise to you? If you want to read more about it, links down in the description box. Stay tuned right here to this channel and to VGN. That does it for me, The Red Dragon. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.